Well, police are preparing for potential protests when Australia hosts China's premier this weekend. Let's bring in Trudy McIntosh for more. Trudy, we'll begin with pandas. And I didn't actually realise this. We're hoping to extend this deal. $1 million a year we pay the Chinese government, and not many countries around the world still have Chinas at zoos.
And this had been
pandas at zoos, sorry.
This had been one of the things we'd seen in terms of the tit-for-tat retaliation as China's diplomats using pandas as a tool to try and force countries to change their position. We saw in the United States from Washington Zoo, the pandas forced to go back to China, and the hope here in Australia was the same wouldn't happen when it comes to these two pandas, Funi and Wang Wang, which are being hosted for some time at Adelaide Zoo. They're considered to be a star attraction, and it seems like, given that's the first stop for the Chinese Premier over the weekend, that they're likely to be allowed to stay in Australia for longer. There'll be a visit to a winery, an opportunity to talk about the fact that China has taken off the tariffs it imposed on Australian wine exporters, something that was done to try and change Australia's behaviour during the course of the COVID pandemic. When he comes here to Canberra, there'll be the formal welcome outside Parliament, a lunch in the Great Hall, and then these crucial bilateral talks with Prime Minister Albanese, an opportunity to raise the difficult issues in this relationship. Not only trade, a lot of the sanctions have come off, but there's still some there when it comes to rock lobster producers in particular. And this crucial matter of China's actions targeting Australia's Defence Force, an opportunity for the PM to raise that face-to-face. The opposition saying today that that issue needs to be given much higher priority than pandas.
Pandas are not a test of this relationship, and what I want to see is a focus on ADF personnel, not pandas, and a commitment from the Chinese Premier that there won't be any more incidents that either threaten or injure our ADF personnel.
Some rock lobster businesses going out of business, essentially being run at a loss. So, you know, they're desperate for an answer. If they get a date, at least they know when they might be able to hang in until. We must be getting close to an announcement from the Coalition on Nuclear Power, because now there's a bit of a hint around where some of them at least could be. Yeah,
we've been playing essentially Guess Who at the moment as to where a site will or won't go for a proposed nuclear power plant under the Coalition. And this morning, the Nationals leader David Littleproud was asked about whether they'll be hosted in National Party seats. Now, have a look at his comments here. He talks about the fact that they will be in National Party seats. Does that mean exclusively? Is he ruling out any Liberal-held electorates? I'll show you the map in Queensland, because Maranoa, his own seat, potentially can host quite a few of these proposed plants. You can see them, the coal sign down in the bottom corner there. Those 4 plants are in David Littleproud's electorate. So if he wanted to, he certainly has an option to have some and show that this is not just a matter of not in my backyard, but he can actually advocate for this policy in his own seat. This is David Littleproud.
So we will be very upfront and honest. They will be in National Party seats. We've been very clear that they'll be limited to where existing coal-fired power stations are. We've been very clear. There's about 12 to 14 existing coal-fired power stations around the country, so we can limit to that, but you'll know very soon.
And the plan for the large scale, I mean, we don't hear much about the small scale anymore. I'm not sure if they're going to happen or not. But for the large scale ones is you plug them in to where the coal-fired power stations are, so you don't have to add any transmission to it. So you can sort of map where they could be, but where exactly they'll be, how many. I don't think any Nats would have an issue other than maybe Darren Chester.
Yeah, Darren Chester has expressed some disquiet in terms of having it in Gippsland. We know Dan Tehan, a member of the Shadow Cabinet, when there was a map floated that one could be in his electorate of Wannon, he made it clear to his voters, absolutely not, there will not be one at Anglesea. So the localised politics of this are fascinating. If the one site that's talked about in Western Australia, Tom, is Collie, that's actually a Liberal seat. So if they do proceed with one in WA, it won't just be national held seats. It's held by Rick Wilson, a Liberal MP. So it'd be fascinating to see if that goes ahead, because the Premier there, Roger Cook, says he doesn't want one.
No, and then WA is not on our grid. So, you know, well, they sort of say that's a great plan.
Something different.
See you later. It comes as we've still got this big sort of rolling debate since the weekend over emissions.
Yeah, Peter Dutton seemed to catch many of his own colleagues by surprise on this, announcing that he doesn't believe Labor's 2030 target for emissions reduction is in fact achievable, and therefore the coalition isn't going to have one at all before the next election. We'll show you the numbers here in terms of the competing targets. The coalition will not name one. As you can see here, Labor's goal, which it's agreed to, is 43%. The projection is we will come just short of that at 42%, but the Prime Minister's been pointing out today there's still plenty of time that they'll be able to get there. The crucial question, though, Tom, is what happens to a 2035 target. Australia has until February to post a new number as to where they believe that ambition should go. The question is, how much higher will Labor be in terms of ambition on climate action? Does Peter Dutton believe he has to go anywhere near that number, or just keep the focus on net zero, which it seems like they want to do?
Yeah, 42% prediction with current and future projects. The coalition, and they do point out there are people within the overall sector that say, will all those projects happen? Will they happen on time?
Yeah.
So that's the other question there, Trudy. Thank you.